the Benchwarmers podcast. I am Casey Coggins here with Alvin Hebert.
Back at it.
And Andrew Lira.
We good.
So, the NFL draft right around the corner. I know in NBA playoffs going on. We got the game Bucks-Celtics going on right now. Game 5 in Boston. Game 5 Spurs-Warriors, 9:30 tonight.
Sixers and Heat.
Just about to start. Just started. And but with the NFL draft starting Thursday, I wanted us to do a little first round mock draft, and that's what this episode's all about is a little mock draft where we're gonna rotate picks and just go down the first round and think who we would personally select for the teams we are drafting for. You know, we are going to go based off of team need, what we think the right choice for them would be. So you might not see your typical QBs going all high like
we're building our own team right now,
like everybody else, like the consensus is, because we don't. I think we all kind of think that while it's great to have a great quarterback, if you don't have all the other positions lined up, your quarterback isn't going to help you out.
I think it's safe to say this quarterback class is pretty weak too.
I think I really like the talent up top. I think the top 6 guys are all NFL worthy quarterbacks. The one that I'm not so sure of is Baker Mayfield, because I don't know if he has the type of arm strength to throw those 10-yard outs with the zip he needs to. And there's 2 quarterbacks ever at his size that have made names for themselves, or at least in the last 25 years. Drew Brees and Russell Wilson are the only guys his size. So I don't think he's a Drew Brees.
And Russell Wilson's just a hybrid.
And Russell Wilson's a baseball player. He's a pitcher, so he can sling the ball.
And he can run too.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield can run well, but I just don't think I see him kind of more as in the same kind of mold as Johnny Manziel, and I hate to do the comparisons of them two, but
they got the same personality.
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't. One of them got addicted to shit, and
one of them hasn't gotten a chance yet.
And was constantly like, I guess Baker Mayfield was constantly kind of in the news for antics on the field.
Well, even that what was that running away from the cops video also that came up.
But I don't see him. I see him out of the top 6 quarterbacks being the most likely to be a bust.
I actually think Sam Darnold.
I think most likely to be a bust is Baker Mayfield, especially given that the news today is the Browns are looking at maybe taking him at 1
overall.
Yeah.
So they do, I just give up on the Browns.
So while we're also going to do while we're also going to do the draft, we will end up with doing our On Fire, End Dire, and our Prophecies as we do every week. NBA playoff podcast will resume next Tuesday when all the first rounds are done, and we can probably put the Spurs season in the grave and bury that and forget about it for the rest of our lives. I thought you
said we're winning Game 7.
If Manu has anything to say about
it.
Yeah. I would love for them to win the series, but odds are stacked against them.
Just a gentleman's sweep, man.
Wouldn't have been the first time it was stacked against us.
Yeah. This is a little
loyalty in my
DNA. This is a little
exactly.
This is a little bit of a different monster. So I decided that Andrew is going to be selecting the first pick, and every third one after that, with Alvin going 2 and me going 3, and we're just continuing our little circle like that and go through the first round, breaking down who we would pick in those instances. So without further ado, let's get the Browns on the clock, and the first pick of the NFL draft goes to Andrew, picking for the Cleveland Browns.
The pressure, bro.
We, the Cleveland Browns of Cleveland, with the first pick in the draft, select Saquon Barkley of Penn State.
Of course. Give the man the hat.
Which, I mean, I don't know why this isn't a done deal. I don't know why.
I don't know why they even considered a quarterback as the first pick.
I don't know why they haven't traded that first overall pick.
Well, I feel like
If you're not going to go for a Barkley, you should do that.
I don't know. I can, with how everything is played out, because this is the first time I think that nobody has had any kind of a clue. Like there are years where it's like, oh, it could be this guy or it could be this guy, and it was just those two, but you didn't know which one they were going with. This year is, I think, the first year where you literally have no idea who they're going to pick number one. You don't know if they're going to go Saquon. You don't know if they're going to go quarterback. And if they do go quarterback, you don't know if it's going to be Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen.
Well, I think there were reports today
Josh
saying
Allen.
that Darnold is out. They're not even considering him.
I didn't see any of that.
How is Josh Allen in the talks of being the first overall?
The dude is like a Jay Cutler and arm and arm talent.
Exactly.
Jay Cutler. I was like, oh no.
But so the problem with Jay Cutler was his mentality about the sport.
Yeah.
He seemed like he just didn't care, and he guy
seemed
can
like a total douchebag.
The guy can sling the ball. He can throw anything, and so Josh Allen's physical tools can be top 5 quarterback in the league. Just physical traits, the ability, like the way he can move. He's not a just stand still quarterback behind the pocket. He can at least roll out and make something happen. He might not be Aaron Rodgers or Cam Newton, but he can be like a Phillip Rivers or Ben Roethlisberger who can kind of make something happen. And the guy can just throw the ball. He can make any throw. So he just needs to work on accuracy. He needs to realize that touch passes need to actually be a thing.
I see where the Jay Cutler is coming.
And he was also playing at Wyoming. He was playing with talent in Wyoming, and it's like, yeah, you want somebody who's playing this top level talent who's playing in a conference like that to be just completely outstanding and not have these interceptions and not have these inaccurate throws,
especially games where he's just like,
imagine if he was at a school and in a system that kind of made him a quarterback that focused on the accuracy and everything, where he was playing with a top talent team like an Alabama. Like, that could have changed his entire college trajectory to where we wouldn't even be having this conversation. Like, most people haven't even seen Josh Allen play.
Nope.
Other than NFL scouts and the NFL people. There's a lot of people in the country who just don't have never seen him play and have no idea what he looks like on the field. But with the Browns, not letting anybody really get a grasp of them, it gives them all the bargaining chips, because you can see teams trying to figure out if they're going to trade, and we're not doing trades in this mock draft, but I would not be surprised if you see 4 or 5 of these picks in the top 14 get traded again. So moving forward from Saquon Barkley as our number 1 pick, Alvin, you are picking for the Giants at number 2.
Gross. Well, since he did pick Barkley, which I was thinking that's what was going to happen, I'm going to say Bradley Chubb, the defensive end. What is it? South Carolina?
NC State.
NC State.
Carolina.
Yeah.
A lot of people are expecting like either Rosen or Donald or whatever if Barkley gets taken, but with Jason Pierre gone,
they need a lot. They
do.
The Giants are one of the teams that I do think should trade out of their position
to get multiple.
They
picks.
should trade down. They should trade and get, maybe slide down to the Broncos or another. Let's see, looking at teams that might need another quarterback.
Dolphins, maybe.
Yeah, I mean they have Ryan Tannehill coming back from injury.
The Jets,
but they already traded up to 3.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, so the Broncos might be looking at quarterback. The Bears got their quarterback last year. The 49ers just got their quarterback. The Bucks, the Colts, they have their quarterback.
Do the Colts really have their quarterback?
Yeah, as far as it looks like. It looks like
Is he
he's
alive?
ready to go.
Do they find him?
But I think there's a lot of teams that right now don't need a starting quarterback in this league.
Especially
But
in the
they
top.
So to me, it seems like, trade down to a team that might want somebody else like a Minkah Fitzpatrick and get your quarterback a little later and pick up some other picks so you can draft, more talent like position guys.
Because their O-line is trash too, even though they picked up Nate Solder in the offseason.
I
definitely trade down and get more picks.
To me, if I was picking number 2 for the Giants, I definitely would have gone Quentin Nelson because you have decent talent on offense, but you can't keep Eli Manning upright and give him a pocket to throw from. They need a lot of help. I think they actually need more help than the Browns do.
Oh yeah, they got so many holes.
In the Browns just went 0-16, but they did trade for Tyrod Taylor and Jarvis Landry. So I'm picking for the Jets. They did just trade up from 6 to 3. They are going quarterback. And they should. This is one of the teams that should go quarterback because that's one of their biggest weaknesses. You look at their last couple seasons, and this year they surprised a lot of teams, but they didn't have. I think when McCown got hurt, they didn't have another quarterback to go to. And if I'm the Jets, the quarterback I want to go with is Josh Rosen. The reason I am going to pick Josh Rosen is he kind of fits New York more than any of the other guys. And he's going to be he's definitely going to be the face of the franchise guy. He's going to be able to go out there and glitz and glamour, and he wants the pressure of being in the New York spotlight, and I think that's going to help him thrive. So I think as much as I think Sam Darnold and some of the other quarterbacks are better than him, I think for the Jets, the smart move is to go Josh Rosen because, one, he is a talented quarterback, but 2, he can also I think withstand all the media scrutiny because you look at his college career and all the stupid things that he said and all of the really smart things that he said that's just been criticized because they don't want their college athlete talking about athletes being paid. So Josh Rosen going to the Jets at number 3. Number 4 now, back to the Browns and back to Andrew.
Back to Cleveland.
Going back to Cleveland.
So, started off with Saquon Barkley. Barkley. We got Saquon Barkley going number 1, so who better than to help that running game than a guard? I'm going to go with Quentin Nelson out of Notre Dame.
And this is exactly what they should do. If this is how it falls, this would be a perfect draft for them, and I think all of our eyes.
I think you're making LeBron James want to stay with Cleveland.
I know.
He's coming to San Antonio still.
They're gonna be like they're gonna be like Philadelphia next year. They're gonna have a Cavs title and an Indians title and the Browns. Yeah, the Browns.
Yeah, the Browns.
But I think
kind of like Houston.
I would say that I would honestly say that if they went this route and made these 2 picks and got these 2 players, they would make the playoffs.
Whoa.
That's how important.
Glass breaking.
That's how important I think these 2 players would be for them, because I think they have a pretty talented defense. They just got Myles Garrett, number 1 overall last year. So they have a decent defense.
They've always had a decent defense.
They were in a lot of their games. They just couldn't score points.
No run game. But now if you add...
Now I just changed
it. Exactly. So we're going mile high now to Denver. Alvin, you're on the clock.
Man, he just keep taking my picks. Like, if he didn't go with Quentin Nelson, I was going to say Broncos pick Nelson. But, again, they have them picking a quarterback. I don't think quarterback is high priority for them right now. So I'll go for the inside linebacker, Tremaine Edmonds.
Out of Virginia Tech.
Yes,
that's a little jump for him. Yeah,
that's Casey's way of saying, "Man, you suck at picking."
No,
that's a terrible pick.
I would have gone a guy like Minkah Fitzpatrick for them, because the no-fly zone was kind of torn apart, I believe, in this offseason.
Yeah, keep to leave, but I feel like cornerbacks will be a premium in the second round.
Yeah, I mean, Denzel Ward is going to be gone. Jair Alexander, Minkah Fitzpatrick, like the top guys are going to be gone. And so you're kind of hoping that a guy like Josh Jackson out of Iowa is going to be there later, because he's going to be a pretty good cover corner, if not a good nickel corner. So they'll have time. With the Broncos, they signed Case Keenum. So yeah, that's why they are kind of looking quarterback, because Case Keenum is a stopgap. So if I wouldn't be surprised to see the Broncos go with Josh Allen, because he's used to playing in that kind of environment. The cold weather, playing in Wyoming, he can throw the ball, so the bad weather isn't going to affect him that much. So it really, when Thursday night comes, it would not surprise me one bit to see Josh Allen picked there. So I'm up with number 6 and the Colts. And the Colts, as long as Andrew Luck is healthy and is good to go, they shouldn't really have to worry about their offense too much. Their defense, however, is a big issue, and I think that with Bradley Chubb not being there, who I think is the best defensive player in the draft, I think the guy that they need to go with is Minkah Fitzpatrick. Shore up the secondary. Linebackers and defensive linemen seem to be able to be found in free agencies and later in the draft for guys that can fill in. But guys like Minkah Fitzpatrick are harder to find at I think in later rounds at the type of production he's going to give you, and that'll shore up their safety position. He can also play cornerback, and he can really play a lot of different areas of the secondary. So I think that's where they should go. Drew, you are up with the Bucks.
With the Bucks, going to Tampa Bay. I was thinking, since there's a vacant spot with Doug Martin being gone, we're going to take it down to LSU and pick up Darius. Was that Geis? Darius Geis out of LSU.
Who is, the second-rated running back on the board.
I thought about him on a couple of teams, but didn't pull him on any of them.
Yeah, he's might not be right there with Saquon as far as overall talent goes, but Geis is definitely a good, talented running back. The Bucks, they were quite disappointing this last season. You know, their defense has been decent over the past couple seasons. If they don't go running back, I think they're another team that really needs to shore up their line play. Allow Jameis to have a pocket to throw in, because they still have Deshaun Jackson and they still have Mike Evans. They have a receiving core. I think they still have Cameron Brate at tight end. So the running back, while it is something that they probably need to fill, that's where I would go with what Alvin just said, is with cornerbacks, you can find them later. With the offensive linemen, they might end up going offensive linemen come Thursday night just to shore up, because you want to keep your star quarterback on his feet. He can't throw from his back. Alvin, it brings you to Chicago and drafting for the Bears.
For Chicago, they don't really need like big. They don't have like real major holes. It's just finding like depth and things like that to cover. You know, if injury happens and anything like that. But I still think they need a pass rusher. So I'm going with Marcus Davenport
out of UTSA.
Yes.
Yeah, that's their defense has not been the same kind of Chicago Bears defense we've been used to over the history of that franchise. So getting that defense all complete, especially in that division, you need a pass rusher. You need somebody who's getting to Aaron Rodgers and Matt Stafford and Kirk Cousins now, who's with the Vikings. I almost forgot he was there. So the Bears definitely have a little ways to go, but it wouldn't, like, just a few moves here and there wouldn't surprise me to see them like fighting for a wild card. So now we're on to the 49ers. As I discussed earlier, they took care of their quarterback situation last year, trading for Jimmy G. Now what they need is to keep him upright. They also might need defensive line help, but I'm still a big believer in just get your offensive tackles, get your offensive line complete. Look at the Cowboys, look at the Eagles, what they've been able to do the last couple seasons. Yeah, the Cowboys had a rough year this year, but it was just because of injuries. It wasn't because of lack of talent. So for me, I'm going with Mike McGlinchey out of Notre Dame, offensive tackle. There's a few guys that I think would be able to go in this position. Connor Williams out of Texas, Colton Miller out of UCLA. Those are guys that definitely you could see the 49ers taking, but I think that McGlinchey is the best out of those that are available. Oakland Raiders on the clock with Andrew.
The Raiders.
And we know they don't need a quarterback.
Nope.
So I'm starting to look and I'm like, Jesus, where are we going to draft Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield?
With the Raiders pick, I was going to go with Derwin James out of Florida State. Go with a safety.
Yeah,
all right.
having players behind Khalil Mack. Their front seven's good. Their back four is not.
That's one their Achilles heel right there.
So I think definitely going defensive back for the Raiders is the choice for them. That brings us to the Dolphins now for Alvin.
Again, Dolphins. The major glaring hole is defensive line, of course, since
Ndamukong Suh's gone.
He left. So I'm actually going to pick a replacement for him, and instead of Payne, I actually like
Vita?
Yeah,
The Vita Vea?
Vita Vea, because he's bigger, stronger, and he's actually quick off the ball. Even though like his 40's 5'1", but I just like that he's bigger. So
you don't need to worry about a 40 with a defensive tackle. You need to worry about their cone drills and their like the agility drills, as well as the strength. And Vita Vea is definitely
he's strong. Like 41 bench reps. Like
he's going to be a good run stopper. But yeah, Daron Payne out of Alabama is also, right there on that same kind of level as far as defensive tackles go. Now, I got the Bills, and I don't know what they decided to do this offseason, because they made the playoffs for the first time in 19 years or whatever it was, and they ended up getting rid of Tyrod Taylor. I feel like they got rid of another couple guys, and their idea of replacing Tyrod Taylor is to get A.J. McCarron. So if they're going to think that he's their answer, they need help. They need receiver. They need offensive linemen. And offensive linemen, again, is something that I'm going to say a lot. But for the Bills, I see them having to go with Calvin Ridley here. He's the best receiver on the board, best receiver in the draft. He didn't really test well at the combine, but he was like a 4-year starter at Alabama as a receiver. And to me, that says something. He runs clean routes. He's not quite the Antonio Brown of route running, but he's definitely better than a lot of college receivers going into the pros. So they need to get help for A.J. McCarron, and it wouldn't surprise me to see them go quarterback, especially if guys like Sam Darnold and Josh Allen fall to them at this pick. I almost leaned going that way just because, it would be smart for them to get a guy to back up A.J. McCarron, that if they have to throw him into the fire earlier than they want to, they can at least see what they have.
Like they did to that poor kid when they...
Peterman.
Randomly took out Taylor.
Yeah, that was not... They made poor choices. So now we're on to the Redskins with Andrew picking.
With the Redskins, I've got that pick going to Maurice Hurst out of Michigan.
The Deadskins, get out of here.
Going down the list. I don't know where he's at in your top.
What position he plays?
Defensive tackle.
Line. Yeah.
I think he's right there behind Vita.
Yeah, he was second best. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I'm going off of NFL.com rankings, and Maurice Hurst is behind quite a few other guys. He's listed as the 42nd overall player by Mike Mayock from NFL.com. But the Redskins, they got rid of Kirk. I can't remember who they got to replace him.
Has anybody picked up Daron Payne in our draft right now?
Nope, they have not. I have a feeling like that might be the choice for the Packers coming up, though. But yeah, the Redskins, I think they treated the Kirk Cousins thing all wrong. They should as much as I don't think he was, the franchise type quarterback, he was good enough to be your starting quarterback, and those guys are few and far between if you have the ability to help him with a defense and receivers. So Maurice Hurst should be able to help that defense, especially with, the teams that like to run the ball, like the Eagles and the Giants might end up trying to run the ball a little more this season, and the Cowboys with Zeke coming back for a full season. Alvin, onto the Packers pick. You get to pick for the Packers and the Lions in the NFC North. And the Bears. You got 3 of the teams in the NFC North.
I had a pick for the Giants, and I'll have to pick for these cheeseheads. I mean, we just talked about it that Payne hasn't been picked up, but again, I don't think the Packers need a big need in that defensive tackle spot. To me, I think it's either secondary or the linebackers. And I went with Roquan Smith from Georgia. I mean, Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Ran a 4.5.
Yeah, he's listed at number 4 on my prospect sheet. So, you're getting him at what, the 14th, 15th pick?
Yeah, 14th pick.
So, that's one of those positions like the Packers take best available.
Really,
you'll be able to find you'll be able to find receivers and other running backs later in the draft. One guy that who's probably going to slide a little later than he might should go is a guy like Sony Michel out of Georgia or Nick Chubb out of Georgia. Those two kind of running backs. It wouldn't surprise me to even see Darius Geis fall down into the second round and then try to trade up to get him. They have the offensive line. They have the quarterback. They dropped Jordy, but they did get Jimmy Graham, right?
Yeah, they got Jimmy Graham.
They got Jimmy Graham.
Jimmy G.
So,
wrong Jimmy G.
So yeah, defense is always going to be a need for the Packers. Now, I'm with the Cardinals. They lost quite a few people in the offseason. They signed Sam Bradford to be their starting quarterback, but with the likelihood of him getting hurt and Drew Stanton leaving,
you're going to quarterback.
I'm going to have to go quarterback for the Cardinals. And Sam Darnold is the guy I'm going with for the Cardinals. And if he actually would slide to this position, that would be, I think, tremendous for Sam Darnold, and because it gives him a reason to be like, all right, screw all these other teams that I thought were going to pick me and wanted me to be their quarterback.
I just don't like this quarterback class.
I don't think there's a can't miss quarterback in this draft. You've seen the numbers. I'm sure that there's been in the last 15 years there have been 60 quarterbacks that have been selected in the first round, and 30 of them have made a Pro Bowl. And I think only in the last 15 years, I don't know if any of them have won a Super Bowl. Joe Flacco, he's won. But, Eli was drafted first overall in 2004, so he's another.
I think that's the only one.
Aaron Rodgers.
But he was drafted.
Ben Roethlisberger. There's 4 guys, but you see more guys leave the league without having a playoff appearance drafted in the first round than you do win a Super Bowl. So it's all about fit, and it's all about the team around them. Talent, it gets you so far, but if you can throw the ball, if you can throw a 20-yard post route and hit it on the money, but your receiver can't get there, or doesn't have, or just drops the pass, what good is your talent at quarterback? So, Sam Darnold, though, I think he's just the pick that the Cardinals need to go with. That's another one of those. Just pick best available. You have some other things you might need to work on, but you're not going to find a guy of the talent of Sam Darnold in, you know, the second round. So get him here. If he's not going to fall, I know that. I think we all know that. But the way that we see this draft, how it should go, this would be a great pick for him. On to the Ravens. Andrew, you again.
Yeah. Baltimore.
They don't need a quarterback. They signed RG3.
That means they do need a quarterback. They just signed RG3.
What happens when he gets hurt?
He's
So
not
that's what I'm kind of torn between. But for how long do they have Joe Flacco?
long enough.
How long can he give you?
I think Joe Flacco, if he has the pieces around him, he's only like 29. No, he's like 30, 31 maybe.
33.
Is he really 33?
Yeah. Oh, wow.
That was 2 years. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. I was like, how much longer can he?
I think you get another 4 years out of him.
He's mediocre at best, man. Like, the only reason why they won that is because...
Have you looked at the team that they put around him?
Exactly.
Who's his best receiver?
I don't even know.
The last good running back he had hit a woman in an elevator.
Rug around with that 2-piece combo.
Like that, he hasn't had any kind of offensive talent. So I think Joe Flacco, if you give him the pieces around him,
he did have Smith Jr. for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he actually played really well for them.
He did.
And
wait, junior or senior?
Senior.
Or senior now.
I was like, wait. Yeah. Steve Smith Senior did do.
But yeah,
put up some numbers.
It's always good to have the backup plan. But Joe Flacco's going to give them at least 2 to 4 years.
That's a big difference.
I say 2.
Yeah, I was like that. 2 sounds realistic. 4 is just
I'm not saying I'm not counting this season. I'm saying like he can get you this season
and 4 more.
And
so he'll be 38.
He'll get you through 2020.
So 2 years.
They just need to.
So this season and next.
But even if he, declines drastically and they end up getting it being one of the worst teams in the league because they didn't get a quarterback early enough, look at some of the guys who are in college right now who's going to be coming out. Tua from Alabama, he's going to be coming out.
If he stays with Alabama.
Well, he'll be competing, and Jalen Hurst actually might be the one that transfers. But, that's 2 years. He'll be able to come out as a true junior. But there are other guys. The guy from Jake Fromm from Georgia.
So then what better way to prolong Mr. Flacco's career than to give him a shiny new offensive tackle? We're going with Connor Williams out of Texas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
how generous of you.
Right.
Let's prolong your career.
As much as we can.
Keep him on his feet. Allow him to actually throw the ball. They need a guy to fill in the legacies of the great offensive tackles that they've had. Jonathan Ogden, they need somebody like that, a stalwart to anchor down the line. Connor Williams, there's a chance that he might slide into guard in the NFL, but that's still another offensive lineman that keeps your quarterback healthy and upright and able to throw the ball, and you being able to run the ball as well. Alvin, on to San Diego with the Chargers.
With San Diego, I think this will be the perfect time to pick up Daron Payne to put a nice little body in there in between Bosa and Ingram.
Yeah.
Can we just go on record saying that's not San Diego anymore?
Oh, yeah,
LA.
Los Angeles.
They're the Clippers now?
Los Angeles Chargers.
I was like, I can't tell if they're being real or not. I was like...
To me, there's only one real LA team right now, and that's the Rams.
I can't get used to saying LA Chargers. It's San Diego, damn it.
Just
just like the Raiders. The Raiders are about to be the Las Vegas Raiders.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna get used to that. They will always be Oakland to me. I mean, I know they're LA to some people, but they're always gonna be Oakland. Yeah. If you get Deron Payne at this pick for the Chargers in between Ingram and Bosa,
boy,
that's nasty. That's nasty.
There's no way he should not thrive in that position right there.
And they still have Melvin Gordon, and if he can kind of...
Melvin Ingram?
No, the running back.
Oh, yeah, Melvin Gordon.
And Phillip Rivers, and they have the offensive talent too. Like, they could win that division. They could beat the Chiefs and the Raiders and the Broncos.
Oh, yeah.
Especially, like, who knows how the Chiefs are going to be with Patrick Mahomes starting.
If he showed out like he did in the preseason, I know it's preseason, but
we'll see. So now I got the Seahawks.
Wait, so who did that one take?
He took Deron Payne.
Okay.
Mr. Payne.
The Seahawks, I think everybody knows they need to go with offensive line. Like
they need everything too. They fire sale.
Yeah, they need a lot as well. They need a cornerback to replace Sherman. It's still a possibility. I think that they might need to replace Earl Thomas.
Maybe Russell.
No, I think he's still. I think he's still on the trade block, right, Thomas?
Yeah, but they're changing everything for Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
They're gonna go offensive line here.
And he got rid of his mutineers.
And they're gonna go Will Hernandez here, offensive guard out of UTEP.
Which that's a good one. They need
something there, other than the turnstiles that they have. Like some of the pictures, you could have sworn were photoshopped when they took a picture and all the offensive linemen are looking back at the defensive lineman just chasing Russell Wilson, not even a hand on him. It was bad. Now the pick that I've been waiting for, Andrew, you get your Cowboys.
Cowboys pick.
I want to see where you go with this one.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, offensively, I think the Cowboys they're pretty much where they need to be. We got a strong running game. We got Zeke back. We've got.
They'll need a receiver, but that's
we just signed a receiver. Hearns.
Yeah, but they need another one.
It's still an upgrade from Dez. So we're better than where we were.
That's something that they should take care of in the second or third round. A guy real quick that they might be able to get in the second round. Christian Kirk out of A&M, who's a good all-around receiver.
Yeah.
But
for this first round pick, I think we should need to help out that defense a bit. It always seems to be the defense, and that's lagging. So I was going to go with Rashaan Evans out of Alabama.
Hey, I'm not mad at that. Yes.
They definitely need to, as talented as their linebackers can be, the problem is that they just don't stay on the field. And that's, you look at all the injuries they had. One of the major injuries was Sean Lee going out so many times.
Yep.
And so Rashaan Evans filling in for Sean Lee whenever Sean Lee goes down, if he can do half the job that Sean Lee does, that's still better than what you had going. So
when did Ian Kinsler go to the Angels?
This offseason.
They signed him for the money.
Oh man.
So now, Alvin, I want to see what you do with this pick. You're drafting for my Lions here.
Yes, your Lions.
Baker Mayfield.
I was actually thinking of going Rashaan Evans for your Lions, but since that was taken, I don't know if either go defensive tackle or cornerback, and I really do not like your secondary. So
their secondary was actually pretty good this last season. They just they just had a weird season. The Lions.
I don't know, but it would have been nice to get you Rashaan Evans at outside linebacker, or is he outside linebacker?
I think so.
But so since he's gone, where was I going? Oh yeah, Maurice Hurst is gone too. So
yeah, I mean with
so I was
you're on the clock, Alvin.
I know. Hey, I got like how many minutes on the clock?
Not enough. Podcast.
We don't have 3 hours to spare here.
So I'm going to defensive line for your Lions. Hopefully to bolster that up with Tavin
Brian out of Florida.
Yes, sir.
That's actually, when I was walking in here, I had ESPN. They're doing their little mock draft, and that's who they had the Lions taking on their mock draft. So, I mean, with what's left, it wouldn't surprise me to see them try to go with like Denzel Ward or Jair Alexander, strengthening that defensive back. But they've been able to develop their safeties and their cornerbacks. I mean, you can never have too many nowadays, but
definitely
they needed some defensive line help when some of their guys got hurt. So the Bengals, they got this pick from the Bills, and man, they're another one of the teams that just get an offensive line, help out the Red Rocket, help out Andy Dalton. This is where I see them going with Colton Miller out of UCLA.
All right.
Who had a really good Senior Bowl, I believe, and showed pretty well at the Combine as well. So I think he's probably the best choice for the Bengals. Andrew onto the Bills with their second pick.
Who did we have picking them up? Who did they pick up the first pick?
I gave them Calvin Ridley.
Calvin Ridley? Okay.
Baker Mayfield.
I was actually thinking Lamar Jackson.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's one guy in the quarterback class that I feel like he's going to be a legit NFL.
I just think he's being slept on.
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't know if the Bills is the proper place for him to go. But yeah, I think he is being slept on as far as talent goes.
So you are going with Lamar Jackson?
Yes. You could take him off the board.
I was going to go with him with the Jags pick.
He wasn't going to get to the Jags.
I don't know.
I was gonna pick him for the Saints. So on to the Patriots, who traded Brandon Cooks to the Rams for a first-round pick.
Well, since Colton Miller got picked up, I think it makes it easier to go with Ward, cornerback. Man,
if Denzel Ward slides like this, the Patriots are going to be ecstatic.
Bro.
Replace Malcolm Butler. Take care of a lot. Panthers, really easy. Get some help for Cam Newton on the outside. Get him a receiver. DJ Ward out of Maryland is the next best receiver on the board.
DJ
Moore.
Yeah.
Out of Maryland.
He was actually my second pick for the Jags if Lamar Jackson was gone.
Well, too bad. Try again. So, yeah, Cam Newton, they need... I mean, they could use a cornerback because they didn't necessarily have great cornerback play, but Cam Newton needs to get some help.
About time, though.
I mean, they had Kelvin Benjamin. I don't know why they decided to trade him.
You talking about what was they calling him? Queen Latifah?
Andrew to the Titans.
The Titans. I still think that what's his name? The Hawaiian kid, Mariota.
Yeah.
I think he can need some help as far as like
need to stay healthy,
stay on his feet.
Yeah.
So I was going with Billy Price out of Ohio State. The Ohio State.
The center. Yeah, it's the Titans were my sleeper team last year, and they slept into the playoffs. they snuck out a win against the Chiefs in the first round, and then they just kind of fell back asleep against the Patriots. But they have the good run game. Mariota needs to be a little better. He actually was pretty accurate. They were just a bunch of dropped passes by receivers, not running the right routes and stuff. And I see the Titans having a really good season coming up as long as they make the right moves. Alvin, onto the Falcons for you.
Since they did lose, he went to the Panthers. He went from the Chiefs also to them. I forget his name, but since he left for the Panthers, I do think they need an edge guy. So I'm going with Harold Landry out of Boston College.
BC.
Boston College.
Yeah, that was one of the things that troubled them and starting from the Super Bowl is they didn't have enough edge guys. They have what's his face, the guy that got the 6 sacks against the Cowboys.
Yeah. We don't say his name.
No, mainly because we don't remember it.
But they have a couple decent edge guys, but yeah, they definitely need. Their offense will be fine. They had a little rough patch with the new offensive coordinator. They'll bounce back there. So defense is definitely the way to go for them. I got the Saints now. I see them going one of two ways, really. They nailed their draft last year. Their defense got a lot better. Drew Brees is about to be 40. And who best to... I was going to go to Lamar Jackson here, but Lamar Jackson got taken. And so this is... I think they
Baker Mayfield.
I think Josh Allen being here, available here, is where they need to go. Because Josh Allen will allow them to run all the plays that Sean Payton likes to run. And there have been times in the past couple seasons where Drew Brees, you can just see, is struggling to throw the ball deep. And Sean Payton won't have to worry about Josh Allen throwing the ball deep. So who best to learn how to throw accurate passes and be on time than from the best completion percentage quarterback ever? So I think Josh Allen, groom him over the next year or two, depending on how long Drew Brees actually plays, and then they'll be set at quarterback, at running back. Offensive line is good. Their defense is young.
Is finally good.
So I was thinking of going tight end. They need that slot kind of tight end guy, but that's somebody that they can find later in the draft. Josh Allen sliding down to here is the perfect pick for them. Andrew, with the Steelers.
With the Steelers pick, I'm trying to get Big Ben some more years on his career as well. At least let him survive this next one. I don't want to say his last one. I want to say his next one. So with that, we're going with Isaiah Wynn out of Georgia. Georgia.
Yeah. The Steelers should definitely go offensive line or linebacker, because with Shazier being, possibly never coming back, like depending on how all of the rehab goes, he's definitely out this year. So linebacker would be another place that I would have thought for them to go. But as far as who's left on the board, I definitely see the offensive line being the best pick for them. Now, Alvin, we already took your two guys for the Jags. Who did you land on now?
Yeah, so so it's either now I gotta go secondary, so I'm gonna go with Jerry Alexander. I was debating from either him or Josh Jackson at Iowa.
Yeah, Alexander's probably the better one to go with. I wasn't sure if you would go with cornerback because of how stacked their defense is, but
I mean, when you add a guy that runs a freaking 4-3
at this rate, like for the Jags, yeah, they need offensive help. They lost Allen Hurns. I feel like they lost Allen Robinson too.
Yeah, they lost Robinson and Hurns.
And they're betting on Bortles and Leonard Fournette. So they're set there. So receiver is definitely something that they'll need to address, but Jair Alexander at that spot to just give them 3 corners that can just shut teams down. They can get.
They say that you cannot have enough corners.
One of the most productive receivers in this draft is Anthony Miller out of Memphis, DJ Chark out of LSU. Like, I can go down a list of receivers.
Deion Kane, nobody has called his name yet. Out of Clemson.
Yeah, Cortland Sutton.
Yeah, Cortland Sutton.
James Washington out of Oklahoma State. So the wide receiver list is deep. So I have the Vikings. They got Kirk Cousins. If you didn't take Jair Alexander here or with the Jags, that's who I would have taken for them. They, I think, should go ahead and go offensive line, and make sure that you can keep Kirk Cousins, your $80 million man, upright.
Full guarantee contract.
Yeah, so their defense is good. They could probably, you could always add depth. That's one of the reasons why the Saints kind of came back and had a chance to win that game, was because the Vikings defense just couldn't keep up. But with everybody that's left, I think that I'm going to go with Frank Ragnow out of Arkansas. He's a center. I think he's the one to go with for the Vikings. And that is my last pick of the first round. And you'll get to finish it up. Andrew with the Patriots.
Oh, with the Patriots. You want to get your chant going?
Brady.
No, come on,
Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield.
Nah, man.
Oh,
Going Baker Mayfield. Out of Oklahoma.
that's 2 fiery quarterbacks that they got on that squad right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think with these 2 picks, it's going. There's only 2 directions they're going. There's I'm sure that they're either going to trade one, and if they don't trade one, they're drafting a quarterback. It wouldn't surprise me if they even traded it up, because Bill Belichick runs the team. So at this point, it seems like he's just like, fuck it,
Let's do it.
Brady only has so many years left. I only have so many years left.
Well, Brady's not even sure if he's coming back.
Gronk officially said he's coming back, I guess.
Yeah, he said that today.
Did you see his press conference?
Nah.
He was wearing all dirt bike, Moto X gear, and he had the helmet on and everything.
Hell yeah.
And it's all with monster stuff. And he answered, he's like, I've just been riding my bike. So they go, are you coming back? He goes, well, it depends on how my next 2 races go. It was awesome. Only Gronk could do that. And now for the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. Alvin, the final pick of our 2018 mock draft.
Man, so many ways I could go with this pick, but I think since there's so many other wide receivers left on the board, I'll go and take Sutton from SMU. I mean, there's Antonio Callaway, but I like Sutton a little bit better.
And we finished it up with Cortland Sutton. Yeah, it's, the Eagles are one of there's a couple teams where you're just like, Jesus. Like, I think the Saints are definitely one of the teams you're like, what position do they go with? Like, they don't need a starter, really.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they're picking in the first round, so who do you go with?
This is just really like adding depth.
So, it wouldn't have surprised me to see you go with a running back. I don't know if they're keeping LeGarrette Blount, but they still have Jay Ajayi, who ended up he had a good game. And they have Corey Clement, who had a good Super Bowl as well. So, and then you can always get more offensive linemen and defensive backs.
Yeah, or linebackers.
So, or any position for that matter. So that's our 2018 mock draft. It's not going to go anything like this because
It might.
Yeah. if the GMs are smart, they should listen to this and follow every
Baker
step.
Mayfield going 31, as much as that probably should be the case, it's not going to be the case. The fact that they're talking about like 4 quarterbacks in the top 14, and we're like,
Where at though?
We got 1.
Where at though?
I think.
I just feel like there's more greater needs.
I picked 1. I picked 2.
I think you picked 3.
3. I picked 3 quarterbacks, and I'm the guy who says you don't need a quarterback.
Starting this off.
So, that ends that. Let's finish up the podcast with our weekly On Fire and Dire in our prophecies. I'm going to lead off since I let y'all lead off the draft. The Pelicans, they're on fire. They're easy sweep.
Playoff
Easy
Rondo.
sweep. Yeah, they just they look like a team that can be dangerous against any team in the playoffs. Like the Warriors, I think really it's going to be a Kevin Durant series, just because I don't think the Pelicans really have a guy to get that small forward. Like they're stick Anthony Davis on him maybe, but no, you don't do that.
The only thing is with the Warriors, they're going to be more spread out because they're going to have all those people that shoot threes.
That's how Portland plays. So they just played, and they're guard central. So Rajon Rondo and Drew Holiday on defense. They're bigger than the guards that are being thrown out at the Warriors by the Spurs.
I did not know Drew Holiday could play that kind of defense, though.
So yeah, Pelicans are on fire to me, and it really, the way that they're playing right now.
The only thing is their break.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Right? We don't even know how many days they're going to be rested.
At least right now, they're not going to play until the weekend at least.
Yeah, so
they're going to have they're going to have a week off.
I think that's good for Anthony Davis.
I think that's great for them because I don't think their offense operates off a rhythm. Like they don't have a lot of shooting other than Mirotic.
No, but at the same time, I mean, you get cold. You do
get out of rhythm.
Yeah, like basketball is a game of rhythm.
I think they'll be fine.
Rhythm and blues.
Because
are you feeling the blues?
So think of it this way for the Pelicans. So yeah, they might get out of rhythm because they didn't play for a week, but if and when they do play the Warriors, they're going to be probably bringing Steph back soon. So then they're going to have to get back into their rhythm too with running those rotations that they haven't ran in a month. So they're going to be dealing with the same kind of issues as far as rust go. I mean, it's the Warriors and the talent there is amazing, but it's still kind of the same thing as the Pelicans have Anthony Davis, who I was listening to the Bill Simmons podcast. He's like, you could say he's the best player in the league right now, and I really wouldn't have an argument against it.
Yeah.
I mean, the way he's been playing when Boogie went down.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So, Andrew, you're on fire pick.
Oh, you're on fire.
My fire pick. I'm going to the Sixers. The Sixers.
I thought about going.
Finals bound.
I thought about going them.
The process.
I felt like the Pelicans needed to get some love, and that y'all were gonna go with the Sixers.
Leave it to Casey to give the underdogs the love that they deserve.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Sixers.
Well, when you fucking sweep the team with a home court, yeah.
Yeah. They're one of 6 teams to win the first 3 games as a 6th seed or lower.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the Sixers, they're gonna. Well, I'm checking in on the game now, but they're probably finishing it tonight. It wouldn't surprise me to see when this game comes back from commercial to see that the Sixers are up by 20. So, and on to Alvin, your fire.
Well, I'm just going to show my Rookie of the Year candidate some love. Donovan Mitchell. Boy, been balling since he stepped on the court in the playoffs. He's in the same breath as Michael Jordan and Mikan and all those other greats.
Hashtag not my Rookie of the Year.
I mean, so he is their. I mean, we've all noticed it. We know it that they needed to figure out how they were going to score points to be a threat in the playoffs, and Quinn Snyder was like, screw it. You're our best offensive player. Let's put the ball in your hands and let you score.
Averaging 27 points in this first round. First 2 games over 100 points. He said, let me carry them. Coming off the screens, he's looking to score. He's looking to shoot. He's making every move threatening.
He's doing exactly what he was coached to do and what he was told to do. He doesn't need to worry about the defense as much because he has Rudy Gobert behind him. The way that team is set up is in the way that they're operating and they're coached right now. They're going to probably make a serious run at Houston, just like I think the Pelicans can make a serious run at the Warriors. And the Thunder just don't have an answer. Steven Adams, I haven't heard his name at all this playoffs because
Carmelo's been not the hoodie mellow.
He's not hoodie mellow.
He's on the retirement bed right now.
Washed.
Him and Dwayne Wade are going to go out in the same season.
Playoff George just out there by
It's going to be ridiculous. We're going to be tuning into the season opener next year, and Manu Ginobili is going to be trotting out there, and Dwayne Wade and Carmelo is going to be on the couch.
Please no.
So now on to who's in dire. Alvin, follow it up.
Man, so many Dyers, like Roma today, but I'm gonna go with the Pacers and the Blazers. Pacers had a chance to put the foot on the throat. Last night.
I thought about going Pacers here, but they just weren't the worst team of the week for me.
Nope.
To me, it was the Blazers.
I have a feeling he's gonna go with the opposite of what your fire pick was.
Yeah, we talked about them already. They were being brought up.
Because that's my end dire is the Thunder.
Oh yeah,
the Thunder.
Russell Westbrook.
Mainly Russell Westbrook.
Playoff P.
Yeah.
You can't name yourself and then just disappear. Come on now.
Playoff P. All alone.
I forgot about Playoff P. Nah, dog. You forgot about Playoff
P. Yeah, Carmelo. He's non-existent. Russell Westbrook is forcing things.
Didn't they go 0 for 14 in the fourth quarter?
Game 3, I think.
Yeah.
Ricky Rubio getting Russell Westbrook out of his zone.
Making Russell Westbrook break promises.
He didn't break promises because Ricky Rubio didn't have the same kind of game. He had 13 points and 8 assists. He didn't have that 20 and 12 and 11.
They still lost.
And he didn't get suspended for.
And it's not even like they lost a close game. The Jazz controlled them.
They've controlled the series.
Minus one game.
Even that game when they lost, they felt like they had to grasp in that series.
The Thunder, they need to go peacefully into the night. Because, Paul George is on his way to LA. He's 1-2-3 LA. Instead of 1-2-3 Cancun.
Yep, that's exactly what I wrote down. Playoff P about to move to LA.
Yeah, he's ready to go. A couple years ago I was like, man, Russell Westbrook is going to go to the Clippers. Like, I thought that would be amazing for him to go to the Clippers.
He thought that too until he signed that extension.
he probably would have gone to LA if Kevin Durant didn't go to Golden State.
Mm-hmm. I want to be in the same state as him. Send me to New York.
I don't want to do this. I don't want to do the same move that he did. Leave this town.
I'm loyal with my DNA.
So you had the Thunder. I had the Thunder. You had the Pacers and
Blazers.
The Blazers.
Game time. What happened to it?
The watch back.
Did you see some of the stuff that he was saying about how the Pelicans were guarding him? He was like, man, there were like second and third layers there. It's something I've never seen in the NBA before, which is pretty much what they did. They were like, look, you're not scoring. Like, we're gonna hound you. Make everybody else shoot the ball.
Drew Holiday and Rondo were the better backcourt that series.
Which is ridiculous.
What would he say, Rondo in the backcourt?
So, now let's prophesize and get to the places we need to for our superstitious Spurs watching party.
Superstitious.
So, Andrew, you'll go first on the prophecy.
My prophecy is the Wizards will move past the Raptors by this time next week.
Ooh.
What?
Sneaky.
Raptors looking like Barney the dinosaur.
The Raptors are raptorsing.
They don't look like Jurassic World Raptors.
Them Raptors are acting just like we thought they would.
Jurassic Park 2.
It's like a raptor without the teeth. They just nibble.
Just gumming you.
Just gumming it.
Alvin, your prophecy?
Even though I had them in my dire, I still think Pacers will win these next two games. And put Cleveland out their misery. Put LeBron James out of his misery. He does not want to be...
#hater pick. That's all it is. That's all. You're going against your dire.
I actually put my prophecy as the Pacers upset the Cavs in the 7-7. So
it's LeBron or bust, man. It's LeBron or bust.
I actually put that as my prophecy, but now since somebody else prophesied that they would win in 6, I'll go with my homer one that I was gonna say. The Spurs. First team ever to come back from a 3-0 deficit. They win tonight. I think that's going to put a lot of pressure on Golden State.
What?
The Spurs are already one of the best home teams in the league. They don't have an answer for Kevin Durant, but they at least have an answer for everybody else. Got some drama.
Oh, he slapped him across the head. Joel Embiid was about to get ejected right now.
So...
What?
It was like one of those, like, you go up to your homeboys behind the head and just, like, smack them.
Ben Simmons is like, bro, I'm a foot taller than you.
Not a foot, like 9 inches.
Close enough.
It's actually not even that bad. I think Dragic is like 6'4".
Yeah, Dragic is good.
But still.
Sneaky good. Sneaky. So that ends this week's podcast. We'll see how bad our mock draft looks come Thursday and how bad our prophecies look come next Tuesday. So until next time, folks, this has been the Benchwarmers Podcast. I am Casey Coggins with Alvin Hebert.
We out.
And Andrew Lara.
See ya.
See you next week.